Welcome to the Board Game Network. This is James here. I'm going to be explaining how to play this game called Beyond Baker Street, put out by Z-Man Games, designed by Robin Lees and Steve McKenzie. This is a brand new game, and the goal of this game is you're an investigator just like Sherlock Holmes. Your goal is to solve the case before Sherlock Holmes solves the case. So here's the setup. You've got Sherlock Holmes marker here on 15, you've got yours on 0, and actually you put the Sherlock Holmes based on this number. You've got case files cards here, and they progressively get harder. There's numbers 1 through 6. So you should start with the number 1 card. It tells you to put Holmes on 15, but if you look, Holmes continuously gets to a closer space over here, so it takes him less time to solve the case. And then the other piece of information you need to know is the impossible, which is this area on the board, and that says that you should only have 4 cards in that discard, or if you have more than that, then Holmes starts solving the case faster is what it does. You've got your 3 tokens here. You've got 3 card decks. Here's the opportunity, the motive, and the suspect deck. You're just going to mix those up individually, and put 3 out here and flip 1 over on each stack. And these decks are not the same height. And then you'll notice from those that you have different pieces of information. You're going to have a number up here, and that is the number that you have to match exactly to for this evidence to be confirmed. And then there's an icon here. This is a book or footprints. There's actually 4 different possibilities. There is the books. There is a silhouette portrait. There is a magnifying glass, and there is the book. So this game is definitely easier to win if you have 3 different icons out here. You'll notice I have 2 different icons, so that's going to make it more challenging. And your evidence cards here, they are the same icons as these. So there's 4 different icons on these cards, and they're numbers 1 through 6, 1 of each card, 1 through 6. Well, if you add up the numbers 1 through 6, that adds up to 21. Okay, so you would need to know that, because if you have 2 cards out here that have the same icon that add up to higher than 21, which is possible, if this would be a 14, or this would be a 9 and a 12, or I don't know what numbers these go up to, but a 9 and a 12 adds to 21, a 10 and a 12 is 22. If you get above 21, then you cannot confirm both of these pieces of evidence, so you need to get rid of one of them. And then you shuffle your evidence deck. You're going to pass out based on the number of players. For 2 players, you're going to pass 6 to each player. For 3, you're going to pass out 4, and for 4 players, you're going to pass out 3. Now, if you've played the game of Hanabi, this game plays, the evidence sharing information plays just like Hanabi. You play with your cards face out, so you do not get to see them, and you have to be careful when you draw a card to draw it so you don't see that card. You've got a reference card here that gives you your possible actions. And on the first game, here's some character cards. On the first game, it tells you not to play with these character cards, but once you get experience at playing this, you'll probably want to use these, because they give you other, I don't know, some things are better and some things are harder. You'll notice they're numbered up here, and your first player is the person with the lowest number character, and it tells you what this does. And there's also got a number of pipes down at the bottom. The more pipes there are, the easier the game becomes. So if you play with high number of pipes, then the game gets easier. If you play with a low number of pipes, it actually restricts you. If you've got a 1 pipe character, it restricts you in some manner. So you just randomize, shuffle these, and pass them out. Or if you need to make it, you can draw them if you want to. if you're wanting to if you need to make it easier or harder, or maybe you're playing with a younger player or something, you want to make it easier on them. That's your characters. Then all you do is you go into your actions, and each person does an action, and then it goes to the person to the left, and it goes around and around until the game's over. And the way you win this game is you have to have this marker here on exactly 20. You cannot go over and you cannot be under. You have to be exactly on 20, and you have to confirm all 3 pieces of evidence that are here. If anything else happens, then you've lost the game, and you have to do this before Holmes gets to 0. Okay? Anything else and you've lost the game. Now, with these 2 adding up to 20, it may be worth your time to flip one of them and get rid of it and try to get a different icon. It definitely would make the game easier to play. So, number 1 is you assist. The first action possible is to assist. You just get to do 1 action on your turn. An assist is telling somebody else about their cards. So, if I look at my cards, I have 3 different icons and I have 3 different numbers. So, if somebody says, well, this is a 4, or they could say this is the footprints. But you have to tell, when you tell a number, you tell about every number, every card with that number. Or if you tell an icon, you say every card with that icon. So let's just flip up some other examples here. So here's 2 silhouettes. So in this case, if somebody wanted to tell me about the silhouettes, they say these 2 are silhouettes. Or the same thing with the number. These 2 are 4s or whatever. So that is assisting, and when you assist, Sherlock Holmes moves 1 space to the right towards 0. So you definitely speed up the game by assisting, by giving out evidence. That shortens the game. The second thing you can do is investigate. And to investigate, you take a card from your hand and you play it on one of these lead cards. These are called lead cards. And you say ahead of time, I'm going to play on this deck, and then you play the card down. Now this icon needs to match the icon of the one you're putting down. That's how you confirm that evidence. So I wouldn't want to randomly just play stuff. I would want to know ahead of time, or try to know ahead of time as good as I can, that which stack I'm playing on, and so I could say, well, I'm playing on that. Now I played a 4 on an 8, so I obviously can't play another 4 because there's not another one available. So I would have to come up with a 3 and a 1. So we want to watch for 3 and 1s, because that's the only other way to make 8 with these cards. So anytime you get rid of cards out of your hand for any reason, you're going to draw back up to your hand size. So that's your second possibility for playing. Now, in the case where I played on the wrong card, like this, if you do that, what happens is this card actually goes underneath that card, and the new total that I have to hit is the sum of those numbers. So you definitely don't want to do that. The third option you have is to confirm, and what you do when you confirm is once this number is matched exactly, somebody on their turn takes one of these confirm markers and places it over here, and all the evidence cards on top flip over. And once they're flipped over, you cannot look at them again. So you just have to remember what cards have been used and which cards are still available in people's hands and in the deck. And then when you do that, Holmes actually moves back 1 space. Eliminate is your fourth option. And what you do is you take a card out of your hand and actually play it face up in the impossible. So I'm gonna play eliminate. I'm gonna do an eliminate. I'm gonna do this, and that moves this marker this number of spaces to the right. Remember, you have to be at 20 to win the game. So that's one way you can get this marker moving. Then you can pursue. And pursuing means discarding the top card over here. So, and any evidence cards on that would be shuffled back into the deck. So like if this one had some evidence on there that somebody got misplayed or something, let's say I don't want two of them with the same icon anyway. So I am going to pursue, which means I'm going to flip this face down. Any evidence cards that were behind it or on top actually get shuffled back into the deck. They do not get discarded into a discard pile. They get shuffled back in. The top card here flips over, and remember there's only 3 cards in this deck, and that didn't help anything. That helped nothing, because this is a 13 of the book icon, which adds up to 21. And remember, the numbers 1 through 6 add to 21, so I would have to play every single card on those 2 stacks. And then that would be my action, so maybe somebody else might want to discard that one as a pursue and see what the next one is. Well, this is a horrible deal here, because you got 2 icons all the way through that deck, but then you could pursue that one. Anyway, that's what you're doing. Those are your 4 different options. If the deck runs out, then you have all the evidence that there is to have, and so you just don't draw. You're going to play out your hand, but you don't have any draws left. If you exceed the number on the case file here for the impossible, remember that that moves Sherlock Holmes 1 space over to the right, and the way to get over here is to do an eliminate, so you are discarding cards out of your hand face up, and that will move. Let's discard something besides a 1. Here's a 3, so that moves him up 3 spaces. And to win the game, you have to be at 20, you have to confirm all 3 leads, and you have to do the confirmation of the 3rd lead after you get to 20. You can't do it before, and you have to do it before Sherlock Holmes gets to 0. Anything else and you lose. Well, that's how you play the game of Beyond Baker Street. Make sure you tune into all of our videos here at the Board Game Network to learn about the latest games that are coming out and whether you want to pick them up at the store. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel. That really helps us, and we appreciate all the viewers.